Okay, let's see. Is it live? It is. We are live. So good to see everyone. How are you doing? Happy Friday. Awfully excited. I mean, winter time is up here, some places more than others, but beautiful day. I hope all of you are doing exceptionally well today. Thank you for tuning in. Give me 1 second as I go over here, then I go over here, and then I do that, and everything is beautiful. Everything is beautiful in its own. Remember that? Hey, Zigzagzilla, what's up? Good to see you. Hello, Scotty boy. How'd that trip take? Did that flight go up or down, like Deborah was saying? Good to see you, Ruby. Blazing River, good to see you as well. Lost in Space, Papa, good to see you. And I think I saw Belanca in there. How you doing, my dear? Give my love to the kids. Street Mom, Brenda, how are you, my dear? Happy holidays to you. Jargo, good to see you. Melissa, Robert V is in the house. Good to see you, brother. So, what's happening? Brian, 1958, what's going going up next time? The thing is that the going up is the one that takes all the effort. The going down seems to not take very much at all. Snowing there, is it? Robert V, I bet you it's colder than a witch's, you know what I mean, broom. Yeah. Well, brother, sending some warm vibes your way. There we go. DC chilling, what's up? Good to see you, new Yoda. Scott Shut Hats, what's up, buddy? Good to see you as well. Colleen, hello. What's up, Mr. 487? I like that number. I guess that number has some meaning there, I'm assuming, but that's sometimes dangerous. Truth Seeker, what's going on? So Gogo, hello, and Kelly. So it's a fabulous Friday. Cheers to everybody. Yeah, I hear it's going to get cold. Lots of snow next week for some folks. So, Robert, keep warm, brother. Troy, good to see you as well. Emperor Rex, what's happening? So I'm just going to speak favor over us all. Warm, comforting favor for those down in Australia and in the more tropical climates. And we do have lots that listen to us from there. Hey, we just spend soothing favor to you. So there we go. Well, Kelly, you are special, dear. Absolutely. An honor. I mean, I'm the one that's getting the favor from y'all. So I'm just reciprocating in kind. Grace, what's happening? Good to see you. So Bosto, be of service to others. Boy, I tell my wife that all the time. I said, that's what I'm here to do, is to be of service to you. Prosperity and happy birthday. So Friday, I think there's only a couple left. I think next week and then the week after that. Then 2023. So what is it going to turn out to be? I got a sense that it's going to be quite the ride. That's all I got to say. So it's interesting. Do you know that there is an ideology, and it's been around for a while, but when I heard about it, it drew me. Hey, Scott, good to see you. Scott Robinson, there you go. Right back to this group, what we've been talking about, reading about, discussing. So there's a book, and I have no doubt that it'll end up in the school libraries, no doubt. But in this book, the author hypothesizes and pushes the idea, and before you can have belief, you have the idea, right? That humans have no soul and have no free will, and that humans, given the choice, will choose to be under a subservient master as opposed to the illusion that they actually have free will to make a choice. Does that not sound, that's alien? I mean, think about it. Or is there substance of foundation? You know, I've put this out there so many times, and regardless of my personal opinion or belief, you know, do we have a soul? We think this. Socrates wrote about this. Aristotle wrote about this. The soul. What is the soul? There is a time on this planet that the soul didn't have any role in your existence, neither in the afterlife. Spirit, yes. In fact, as I was doing a little research this morning, the world believes that we have a soul primarily because of one little line in a book that at best is plagiarized, has no real foundation on its own based in any kind of real reality, but yet the vast majority of humans believe it to be truth. They believe in it. And that one little line is said that Yahweh breathed into Adam's nostrils, giving him a living soul. Wow. One tiny little line. Well, I can do one better than that. You know, you go to Isaiah 14, where Jerome inserted a word that we have built this whole pantheon around. Lucifer. Yeah. Blazing River says, how much of our memories make up what we are and who we are? If our soul is connected to memories, if our memory is erased, do we have a soul? It's so interesting that you brought that up, Blazing River. I'm going to get into a book next week. You probably have seen a number of this cat's movies. I think Doodlebug was his first. Inception was another one, in Interstellar. And here's the scenario. You have, we'll call him Jack. Jack has a wife, but Jack was in an accident where him and his wife were attacked, and he suffered a wound from that. And now that he has recovered, Jack realizes that he doesn't have many memories. In fact, he only has two distinct memories. One memory is that he remembers distinctly those two that had attacked him and his wife. One died. The other one did not. So Jack, only having two memories that he can recall with certainty, makes the decision that he's going to go and kill, bring to justice, inflict his vengeance on the second perpetrator. So, this is his whole mission, his whole life, because that's Jack's soul. It's what all he remembers. Now, the story continues that there is a bad cop, that this cop realizes something that Jack doesn't. And that is, Jack has already killed the second perpetrator. Jack doesn't remember that. So the bad cop is now using Jack to basically kind of take the trash out, committing multiple murders. So I asked this intelligent, esteemed audience, hello, genetically modified, how you doing, dear? So does Jack have a soul? Does he have a different soul? I mean, if we're predicating a soul to the foundation of memories, experience. So if the portion of the brain that is responsible for memories is damaged or completely wiped out, does that soul die? Is there another soul that comes in? Because remember, I've seen it in this chat room. I've seen it in emails. Many of you believe in a soul and you tie it to memories, the mind. Leaves wide open what is a spirit doing in the meantime. But so how would you address that scenario? I mean, that the question is with foundation. Does Jack have a soul? I mean, the thing that he only has 2 memories. It's interesting. You know, the thing that's so gut-wrenching about dementia, Alzheimer's, is that it's the soul death of the soul. The body is completely animated. So it says there must be a secondary system, maybe a spirit, I don't know, where the core energy is. And when dementia sets in so deeply where the person no longer remembers anything about them, what do we have here? Does the soul continue with no memories? Because this is an interesting thing, what this brain does. Now, if you're saying that, well, memories exist or stored somewhere else, I don't have a problem with that. I just don't know where that is. I don't know how that reunion is, because isn't the movie that Harrison Ford played, What About Henry? You know, remember he was this high-powered, successful lawyer and gets into this accident and he's amnesia. I mean, it's gone. I mean, it's one of those things that goes with the theme of our show today. What do you believe? Or what do you believe in? Someone wrote that in an email to me. It says, you're really good at obliterating belief systems. Person says, so I'm real curious, what do you believe? So I thought, why don't I just go ahead and answer it in front of everybody? It's faster than typing a response, which I'm not that good at. But hey, Michelle, what's up? Elderberry, good to see you, my friend. So what do I believe in? Well, I can say this. The thing that I believe in the most is me. It's the only evidence I have of existence. It's the only evidence I have of this thing called consciousness that everybody talks about. But for me, it's still a very strange thing, consciousness. I question, what is the purpose of consciousness? Is it to me merely to be an observer or to be an active participator? But nevertheless, I marvel that I have and possess this thing called consciousness, and that is built upon precept of my current existence. I can believe in that. I don't need no argument as to why or what the purpose is. I just know I am. I can't prove anything beyond that, because beyond that, it becomes merely speculative, interpreted by 3 chemical, 2 electrical stimuli to this thing that I possess called a brain that houses either my soul or my spirit, or it's nothing more than an Akashic record on 2 feet, collecting memories. And maybe that's what my consciousness does. It certainly seems that what God does. It seems that God could not exist without the fact of creating memories. Otherwise, there's no substantial reason for its existence. So within that, I could say, well, is it an extension of what I have? I talk to people all the time. I can see your words. I can feel your energy. And I know that each and every one of you are uniquely of a consciousness of your own. That I'm just merely an imprint upon your memories, your experience. I recall Trina in person that she knew whose father passed, and he came back and he said that we create this network of consciousness. I think that's a pretty good description. So I can believe in that. But then going outside of that, I have a wireframe. Back in the day when I was head of marketing and sales for high-end graphics house, everything started. We actually had a symbolics. I think it was a 2380, I think, along with Ampex and along with a number of other things, paint box, but Quantel, by the way. You have everything starts with a wireframe. Every idea, every motion starts with a wireframe. And from there, you build reality. I could say that that's probably pretty true about what we're dealing here. I can look around, I can see my office, I know what exists outside there, but right now that doesn't technically exist. I can see the window, so can you. But it's Schrodinger's cat all over again. Because right now, there can be a completely different landscape, a completely different reality that only exists when I look at it. Otherwise, I'm merely hearing cause and effect of a kind that I can't give any proof to. Neither can you. It's only real in reality when our consciousness, our soul, observes, and the minute we observe it, we absorb it, and then it gets into the data collection. It's now a memory. Weird, isn't it? Danny, how are you doing? Bonnie, good to see you as well. Robin, hello. So I love that. And it's a question I'd love to see what y'all, and if you're listening to this on replay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for hitting the like button. But what do you believe? What do you believe in? It's interesting because I was reading, Nicholas, good to see you. Reading some of the responses earlier. I believe in Don Williams. Wow, okay. Michelle Wood writes, my thoughts, my eternal self, with all my memories, resides outside my brain, which I believe is only the receiver, perceiver of data energy. My aspect as observer is outside of the physical body. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's called spatial awareness. Michelle, I don't know if you know that. And many of us in here, we possess that. There's a lot out that don't. I think they do, but it's just a matter is that they won't acknowledge it. They experience it, but you get this place is pretty trippy, man. I mean, you can get caught up in some weird shit. I mean, you think about it. Religion. I was listening to a radio show where I was taking care of some things, and it's interesting because they talk that they're Christians, and today they were talking about, well, one's a Catholic, one's a Baptist, one's a Presbyterian, and I thought to myself, okay, do these people even realize what they're saying? No, because you can't be a segment, a bifurcation, a schism from the original belief system and say that you're still believing in that same God. That's why it's called a schism. And if you study the great schisms of religion, we're into the thousands now. Each time there is a split, it's not the same God. It's easy to say, well, yeah, it is. Well, no, it's not. Because if you believed in what they were saying, really digging the scene, you kept digging the scene. But suddenly something got real uncool with you. And you said, well, fuck that. I don't believe that shit for a second. So you go off and you say, what you're going to do is you're going to say, well, now listen, I got claim to the intellectual property. I own some of the IP here. That's your whatever book it is or whatever you're basing that belief. In this case, we're talking about religion and, the largest one, Christianity. So you take their book to start your own thing. But what you're telling me is that your thing ain't their thing. Well, I don't know how you can claim their God as your God when it was bad enough for you to split off. I mean, is that what Satan did? I mean, is that where this imperfection came in? I don't know. Was Lucifer hanging out one day and, tripping on some of the mushroom and said, hey, guys, gals, I ain't digging this scene anymore, man. It's becoming a real bummer. And that head dude, man, what the heck did he take? I think it's time we split, man, and start our own thing. I mean, it's just as logical of explanation. Then I know. Hey, cowboy, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, Joseph Smith, talk about that one. So you're out, man. I don't know what the dude was into, but he was into some pretty trippy stuff, man. I've taken enough LSD that put me in the astral realm, but man, I never hit it where that dude hit it. I don't even know where that place is at. And then he's got helpers, and then they lead him to find golden plates. Holy crap. It turns the whole paradigm upside down. But we just pretend like it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, so what do you believe in? I could actually get in the question, why? Why do you believe in it? Hey, Chloe, good to see you, dear. And I can say this, as a, person who would be considered, an expert at it. The trips are all different. LSD puts you in one place, mescaline, peyote, man, that puts you in touch with the gods. And then if you really want to get pretty mellow about it and just really dig it, it's the whole thing with mushrooms. Beautiful. Never had a bad trip on any of them. Went to a lot of places and never left my beanbag chair. I did. The time I saw Creedence Clearwater Revival and Bo Diddley, wow, I was on some window pane, 250 mic acid. And I remember John Fogerty as he was playing down on the bayou, and as he was getting into that riff, man, I'll tell you what, the things coming out of that guitar, woo! Anyway, let me get back here. So that's all I got to say about that. What a trip. That was the time that I was living with a guy, Nelson. And that's when I left my body, man. Yeah, literally left my body. What a time. What a time. Brian said, yeah, window pane is strong. It kicked my proverbial butt, as they would say. But anyway, shall we go on? Bonnie, you're right. And that expression, by the way, is used so often. I think Paul wrote about it. We look through a pane of glass, blurred, all that. Acacia, that is another one, a little bit more different, but yeah. I'm just reading in some of the other comments. So, Robin, Dark City, the movie, that's a trip. That's really a good movie about what if. Thank you for bringing that up, Robin. That is perfect metaphor of, so if you ever seen the movie Dark City, so what was happening there? Did O'Keefe, who was playing the scientist, the geneticist, I guess, for the aliens, and the humans, because, the world had fractured and they were able to save this little thing here. So when they started doing, what was it? Was it the chiming? Where everything stopped and reality itself began to rebuild. And what they would do is that they had the ability through the mixture of the alchemical of the brain that they could actually get emotions. Each emotion was in its own different little tube. And the one scene that they had where the couple were poor, barely could eat. Well, when the change or whatever it was started, what was the term they used for that, folks? Anyway, so, O'Keefe comes in with his character and he injects right up here with their third eye, new memories. So the couple who was poor, now after the changing or event takes place and the clocks go again, and it's always dark, they're suddenly filthy rich. Their little tiny table is now, half a football field. So anyway, yeah. It's interesting because now, would you say that they have a soul? It's interesting, this whole thing on memories, but there we go. Alchemy of the gods. Isn't it true? I mean, we keep on getting, our perspective is so narrow on what source creator is. We there's something that prevents us to really believe that there's something greater than us. I don't know. Is that a flaw in our genetic makeup that we have this ego? Because God, the God of the Bible, has an ego that no one else can fit into. I mean, talk about a wide load. I'm just trying to read this. But anyway, that's ego. And yet, my wife and I were at dinner and we're eating salad, and she looks at me, and because we talked the night before about the dinosaurs, how arrogant of us to say, well, they got wiped out. There's no evidence of them. Of course, we're the crown of creation. Well, we're the only ones that got chakras. Really? I mean, if we got them, then what? You're saying the animal kingdom doesn't have them? You're saying to me the plant kingdom doesn't have an equivalent? Come on. But she said, she was doing a project, and she said, she said, out of nowhere, she said, this thought came to me about what you had said. And she says, I'm been medical decades. She says, I know things. And she says, I've delivered more babies than most people can think of. And she said, it began to occur to me, well, wait a minute. What if that species did evolve? I mean, many of them were already bipedal. They had huge craniums. And she said, I began to think about this. What if we're being controlled? She says, you're right. She says, if you take one IQ point per 100 years, so 1,000 would equate to A would equal 10. All right. So 1,000 years, you have 10 IQ points that you've advanced. Now we're starting at a baseline of 0. Well, if you're mankind, we've been around maybe 100,000, 200,000 years. Well, that would put our IQ somewhere around 200. Am I right on that? 1,000 is 10. 2. That's 100. So it'd be 2,000. Yeah. And we ain't at 2,000. We were at 100. We dropped below that. But let's equate from a reptilian life form. I'm assuming it's a carbon base, and carbon-based life forms are not just simply humanids, man. So let's say we gave them 200 million years. Their IQs would be into the millions. They would be so far ahead of us, they would look at us like amoebas. Don't know. Goes back to this book that's coming out that is, promoting the fact that humans have no soul and they have no free will. History, according to what the author is saying, shows that the belief in the soul is a false imagery created by religion for control, and that there is no free will. As he brings up, in the modern day of religion, it's either or. There's no free will. If you truly had free will, you could say, screw both choices. I ain't voting for neither one of you. Up yours, man. Man, you bring me down. Now that's free will. But anyway, moving right on along. Yeah. So what do you believe in? I think believing in me, because everything else outside of that it is a vast sea of potentiality to be added to my personality. Oh, whoopee. Well, Johnny, the highest IQ in the state of Texas, that's pretty good. I don't know what that's saying, but that's pretty good. Yeah. Me, myself, and I, my holy trinity. I like that. That makes pretty good. Makes perfect sense. So, do have a few things to throw out there. I've been seeing things on, like, I brought this up earlier, and so in what we've talked about this week, we were going to get to Ariel. We'll get to her next week. So do you believe that we have the ability to actually open up gates? Do you really think that these names, that I know some of them, others, it would be just brutal for me to give my interpretation of the pronunciation. But nevertheless, I mean, I know who Leviathan is, I know who Lucifer is, I know what Santanus is. The others, more, I don't know. I don't know Zimmy, I don't know enough from them. But do you think we could actually, in the magic, simple magic, and we're going to get into the term of that. So do you think that if I was to draw a circle, and I have done that many times, and stand in the center, done that, on the ground or on the altar is a wand, a knife, and a chalice. We've talked about this. The magician begins by turning to the east and points his wand in that direction. The ritual will proceed clockwise and symbolically follow the journey of the sun towards the night in the north. And, so if you follow this procedure, you're actually opening up gates. And in this case, it says the magician closes his eyes and awaits the arrival of the forces. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, hell, Mary, the forces are coming. But anyway, I happen to think it's true. Therefore, the chalice, if lifted up, filled with wine. Now, I don't know if you want a Cabernet or a Merlot. Maybe you're into more of the white wines. I'm not really sure which wine, but, make sure that it's filled with, something that's going to be pleasant to the palate. Yes. Or magical brew. Now, I hear some of you, I'm thinking mushroom tea. Boy, that'll open some portals. Just think about it. It's not that far from what actually is done. And the forces are greeted in the order they are called. They like name recognition. Yeah. Hey, Raphael, how you doing? Man, looking good. Yeah, that workout's really getting that, yeah. Says the magician holds the chalice in each direction and declares, I greet you. And, they talk about the demon names, okay, but I think you could put the angels' names in there as well. I mean, the dominion, it's not like there's a street, and you don't cross your ass over to the other side of the street. You're going to get your butt kicked. I don't know if it's that defined. Might be, but all right, anyway. And then you give a toast. Now, I like this. This is civil. This has decorum. There's a sense of etiquette involved here, which tells me that we're dealing with most likely a sophisticated, higher intelligence. A toast. I like this. Says if the magician is doing Quampanic invocation, now is the time to read it. So if you've got something that you want to declare, I think the toasting idea is champion. It's just fabulous. Giving a toast to the forces. Why not? I mean, have you ever been in a dinner? Sometimes it can be a wedding, a celebration, or whatever, where you actually give up and you give a toast, Yeah, it's kind of cool. A little civility. I mean, surely the other side has civility, right? I mean, people paint it as pretty doom and gloom and yada, yada, yada. But I got this view, man, that I'm going to walk in and I'm going to be back home. And where I live, oh, baby, I got my own freaking beach. That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, someone wrote me a while back and said, how do you can't say that you have a beach. And I said, well, what a beach. Yes, I can. Hell, you say that there's a hell that I've proved to you that's been created within particularly the last 500 years. Prior to that, it really didn't exist. Oh, well, there you go, bringing up those facts. But anyway, hell yeah, I can have my beach. There are people there right now. Says the ceremony is ended with a farewell to the forces and a closing of the gates by pointing the dagger in the 7 directions, but in the opposite order, starting upwards and ending with the east. Before each direction, the magician declares, "Go in peace," using the spirit's name, "and return to the place from which you came, and appear again whenever I call upon you." So, you get an idea that it sounds like there's a contract here being initiated. Bet your ass. Anyway, not going to go through that because I got some other stuff, but you can conjure up a number of this. Here's Lilith. What is this? Lapaka, La Lilith, Roch, Badad, Arioth, Samuel, Shiad. Lilith, open your womb, open the shell of darkness, and come forth from the cave of darkness of dreams. Lilith, let your blood flow like the volcanic lava, and be the force through which the dragon arises. Open, Lilith, Ama, Lalil, Nema, Rimog, Aroth, Laroth, Lilith. O Lilith, the world is seduced in your embrace, and there they remain. Of all ages can meet beneath the shadow of your cruelty. Well, I guess that's an interpretation. I think it's a little harsh. Obviously, this one's coming from much more of a Kabbalah, the Kabbalah, the Kabbalah, yes. The Kabbalah kind of reference, I don't think Lilith, she can be a bad mama. That's why you don't want to piss her off. Namra, Rimog, Arioth, Lilith. Lilith, you're holding the scepter and the dominion. That's pretty interesting. Give us the dominion and the fulfillment of our dreams. Lepaka, Lilith, Roch, Aroth, Namath, Samuel, Shiad, Ho, Dragon, O Magus. There you go. Lilith, we love you, darling. Lucifer's conjuring, there we go. Beelzebub, there you go. Astaroth, there you go. The lower spirits of conjuring. So if you're into spells, hey, baby, this is one you would love to have. Seriously. We cover some strange stuff here, don't we? Yeah. All right. As we continue on this, thank you, Joyce Marie. I practiced those words, and they're spot on. So, just for clarification's sake, right? So, Magick, it's what they call a Bernon Christo Otto. This is the etymology of the word. Magick is a wonderwort, a wandering word that looks back over more than 2.5 millennia of conceptual history. The term has its origins in the Old Persian, magas, a self-designation that was used by a high-ranking priest caste of the Achaemenid Empire. The Old Persian word magas in Persian cuneiform script is attested in a variety of texts, such as the Bethestan inscription dated to circa 522 BCE. Wow. And the so-called Perseus fortification tablets, which date to the reigns of Darius I and Exarchus I, circa 486 to 655 BCE. These are pretty old. In these texts, the word magus mainly refers to an Iranian, possibly Zoroastrian, priest who performs sacrificial and other rituals for high-ranking members of the Persian Empire, the Otto Empire. This original meaning, a designation for Iranian experts in religious matters, is also preserved in the subsequent Zoroastrian text. For instance, during the Sasanian Empire, 3rd to the 7th century CE, the Middle Persian diveration of Magupati, high priest, continued to function as a priestly title. The contradiction, Mobab or Mobed, is still in use by contemporary Zoroastrian priests. When pondering the parallel of the Iranian Zoroastrian, and if you've never got it, you should get the book. I mean, there's a lot of credibility in what the Zoroastrians believed. I would have to say, after I read what, right in kind of line with them. Trajectory is the root word must be kept in mind as it points towards a long-term gap between insider and outsider perspectives. So he goes on to show that this word magic is not quite as bad as we thought it was. And I want to get in here real quick because I thought this one. So semetics. Magic is not only a wandering word, but also a floating signifier. Floating signifiers are characterized by a vague, highly variable, unspecifiable, or non-existent signified. Such signifiers may mean different things to different people. They may stand for many or even none of the signifieds. They may mean whatever their interpreters want them to mean. Over the course of Western history, it was largely a matter of perspective whether one considered magic to be the art of the devil or a path to the gods, of natural or supernatural origins, a testimony to human folly, or the crowning achievement of scientific audacity, a sin or a virtue, harmful or beneficent, overpowering or empowering, an act of othering or of self-assertion. I love that. I mean, right there alone, I could go saying, yeah. And it shows, again, this duality, two paths, the art of the devils or the path of the gods. Truth be known, we know that the devil is the same thing as the gods. Sanity of it all. Is it natural or supernatural origins? Well, I would say that most likely it's natural. I mean, if it's supernatural, then someone is, passing the steroids around. A testimony to human folly or the crowning achievement of scientific audacity. I love that. The audacity of you to think yourself a god. A sin or a virtue. I wonder if you were to put it out on a chart, who has accomplished more? The arts, the craft, or what we have conceived to be science? And science is really nothing more than an observer. So anyway, these ambivalences notwithstanding, 4 Semitic notions have emerged that can be seen as a core constituents of somatic field of magic. 1, ritual. 2, power. 3, miracles. And 4, most important, wish fulfillment. We're coming up on the make-believe Santa Claus time, which, Santa Claus is responsible for billions of dollars in commerce. So we ain't going to kill him off anytime soon. But everything I just said that magic is exactly what's taking place today under the guise of normalcy. You have an annual ritual. Power. Gift giving can be very manipulative, but there is power in that. Miracle. That is extreme concentration and focus. That's what I look at miracles. And or wish fulfillment. I mean, that's all prayer is. prayer is nothing more than wish fulfillment and becomes very ritualized. I just thought I'd throw this out there. I'll finish this last one. To begin with, magic typically denotes a set of rituals, a ritual art or knowledge practice. I mean, when I used to go to church every Sunday and subsequently Tuesday, Wednesday, there was a procedure, a proper procedure. And you didn't deviate from the norm. And people become like sheep. They expect that when they come in to be greeted at the door, given a hug, saying, "Oh, we love you, God bless you." And you go and you take your seat and you read the bulletin and you're waiting for the singers to come up there if you got a band. And the first thing we've got to get you is to get you motivated. So we're going to start singing. And we're going to do about 15, 20 minutes of singing, because by the time we get finished with that ritual, you're going to be happy. The endorphins have left. You're feeling the Spirit. You've got God all around you. And then we want to make sure that while you're feeling these endorphins that you give, that's why the offering plate goes around. And now you're ready to receive the word from the master magician, your pastor, your priest. Exactly what it is. Anyway, that is to say, magic is a type of repetitive behavior. No shit. Often following predefined scripts, the purpose or goal of which goes beyond the mere reenactment of a predefined script. In other words, there is a chronological gap between the ritual performance or action and its intention or investige outcome. Rituals deemed magical are casual opaques. The actions are not connected to the purpose results. I mean, that's why people come up and get healing, to receive. You're ready to receive. The fact of the matter is, something I learned decades ago: if a person doesn't believe before you start praying, give up, tell them to go away. Because that's all it's going to lead is to a big mess. They're going to be disappointed and you're going to begin to question your ability. No, there we go. On this understanding, magic may be perceived as a distinct force that operates independently from the performance of rituals, a force that is ascribed to, for instance, to stones, herbs, or other natural phenomenon. In the late medieval or early modern Europe, the phrase magica naturalis, natural magic, was coined to describe this Semitic facet. Furthermore, magic also includes the notion of a miracle or miraculous ability, that is, of an exceptional, extraordinary event that transgresses the used or accepted boundaries of human existence and is thus considered remarkable or unexplainable by most observers. This notion led to a wide-ranging interreligious disputes, as from many antiquity going forward, an arbitrary distinction was made between allegedly false magical miracles and those that were allegedly authentic because they were religious or God ordained. And that's the difference. You can perform a miracle. If you're in need of financially, you have the ability to change that, literally change it like that. But you don't believe you can do that. You believe that you're up against economic forces and an economic system, and you just have so much education and so much opportunity. Well, don't even try. All you're going to find is disappointment. But if you know that you are in fact unstoppable, eternal, that you are sovereign, that you are a creator, man, you can bring things to pass that people are going to say, "Why, Steiger, are you so damn lucky?" Why is it that you seem to be in the right place at the right time? Why didn't that do more harm to you? If it had been any other person, it would have been decimated to them. Someone needed to hear that. Because if all the difference is that you're going to someone who has a title, Lord, or etc., and you're putting your trust in that individual's ability to bring something to pass, boy, do you really, really want that? Says this distinction was typically attached to the idea that true miracles did not require the performance of rituals, and that ritual-invoked miracles were thus less powerful when compared to those that were derived from pure wisdom of gods. This rhetorical pattern was used by the late ancient Christians, but also by the Napoleonic and other pagan authors. Boy, if you don't see these two as paternal twins, come on. This is a great little, it's only 3 pages, folks, but it is a dynamite in really getting out what the floating signifier is. Remember, magic is nothing more than a wandering word. Far out. That's all I got to say. And then, that gets into us, summoning spirits, the art of magical invocation. I said yesterday, folks, people say, well, you shouldn't mess with this stuff because you don't know what's over there. Excuse me. And so what? You're going to be the one who's going to walk over there cold? Because if you're using that logic, think about that. That door swings both ways, darling. But there is a proper way of doing it, many different ways of doing it. If you've ever channeled, or if you've ever had an idea that came out of nowhere, where you invented 2 different payment systems that did not where the fuck did that come from? I'll tell you where it came from. Came from that place that they call the magic realm, the spirit realm. Another book I have, we'll be getting into this, as The Black Arts, a concise history of witchcraft, demonology, astrology, alchemy, and other mystical practices throughout the ages. Oh, man, that covers all of them, huh? And then next week, we'll get into the 50 most powerful spells. If you don't have this in your library, you really should. It has virtually every type of spell you want. This is a protection chant, a protection spell. Tells you exactly protection chant or outdoor spells. Before attempting spells at night, outdoors, take up a blessed object, wand, for instance, and draw the pentagrams in the air. Pentagrams are very important. They're very important. And imagine the pentagram glowing and the evil around being trapped inside into or after your spells or chant. Purification spell for beauty. Yeah, you can actually, the decay takes place, but it can be slowed down. Attraction spell for driving away evil, to break a curse, for success, for a safe return, to be revenged on one who has done you harm. Be careful with those. I can tell you, it's a split fork. It's going to bite you in the ass. It doesn't feel good when people attack you, but I can just say this from personal experience: the best and most powerful magic is to do nothing. You see, if you ignore it, you see, that's a level so low, it's below contempt. It's disdain. I mean, it's down there. Spells of protection, again, There's just a number of them. Here's a money spell. Said while making 9 knots in green, 13-inch silk cord or ribbon. By knot of 1, my spell begins. By knot of 2, plenty fruitful work to do. By knot of 3, money comes to me. By knot of 4, opportunity knocks on my door. By knot of 5, my business thrives. By knot of 6, the spell is fixed. By knot of 7, success is given. By knot of 8, increase is great. By knot of 9, these things are mine. Prosperity oil. This classical prosperity oil has been used for at least 100 years. It is best made on Tuesday and is believed to be the most effective if allowed to sit for 3 weeks after mixing. A small green piece of fabric may be anointed with the oil and carried in the purse. Now, how I know that these work? Because I can take you directly into the book of Acts, where it said that they would anoint the oil, and taking a piece of fabric, in this case, Peter, as he walked by the sick, that if they could even touch his hem, they were cured. This goes back way into the children of Israel. They got this from Egyptian. It works, folks. The oil may be worn as a perfume. Omit the base oil if you wish to use the aromatherapy of oil warmer, sunflower or light material. Mix all ingredients carefully and put into a dark glass. Allow it to sit for at least 3 weeks. Then strain through the cheesecloths or muslin to remove the basil powder residue. Keep a small coin in the bottle and keep away from direct sunlight. Well, there you go. Up, down, there went my time. Anyway, Lucky Stone, how are you doing? Revenge never works. It doesn't. It just doesn't. All the time. Good to see you, Lucky. So Michelle says, I love my oils. Use them daily. Yeah, I got them right over here myself. Jackie, I love this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to go through a bunch more of it. I mean, we're talking about magic, and I think the more that we learn, I mean, the study of the angels gave me more empowerment than, it's like recharging the battery. But anyway, it's a fantastic book, and there's a lot of them out there. But, it works. It really does. I walked this property. There's a reason why you should walk your property. You got to claim it. You've got to let it be known. Yeah. Anyway, Scotty Boy, yeah, that's a good song. Actually, who sang that song? It's Magic. Yeah, anyway, there's a number. I know ELL did it. And there's another one. All right. So hope it's been fun for you. I love this stuff. I mean, it's just exciting. And I guess it's because of my Christian background. Again, as I said, 50 years of initiation into the occult. Never knew it. Never knew it. Boy, am I glad now. Grace, well, thank you, darling. Jargo. All right, everyone. Have a fabulous Saturday and Sunday. Make it the strong end of your week. Make it magical. Angelo says, we have to be careful what we really want. More truth into that than most people know. Exactly. Ruby, right back at you. Exactly, Robert. Yep, indeed. All right. Have yourselves a fabulous Saturday and Sunday. See you folks back here on Monday. And make your magic. Make it special. Make it miraculous. You have the ability. There is such a reservoir of those who want to help you along that way. The unseen exists. It does. Lost in Space, right back at you. Mary Wins, much love to you, darling. And Bonnie, thank you too. That's all I can say. Thank you too. All right, folks. See y'all on Monday. Hey, Carolyn, good to see you as well. Appreciate it, darling. All right.